one of the most important things you need to know how to do in DotNetNuke is to create a web page. So right now I'm going to teach you about what are the attributes or settings of a web page. How do you set the security or permissions or the visibility of that web page within your site? How you position that web page in the menu, and how do you do URL forwarding, or in other words, creating a web page that simply redirects you to another web page. So let's get started. Okay, I'm logged in as the admin in my DotNetNuke portal. And as you can see, I only have right now, I have one page, and it's called Home. So I'm going to go to my handy dandy admin ribbon, and I'm going to create a new page by clicking Add. Now some of the basic settings of the page are these four options right here. The name of the page, obviously, which is going to be the name it's also going to put in as the menu item. So let's create this as page 1. The parent, or where I want to put it in the menu. If I put none, it'll appear in the top menu, and I'll show you an example how to change that. Visibility, and this gives us a little bit of insight into the security or permissions of the web page, which I'll go into further. But this is going to set the basic visibility of the page and whether or not you want to include it in the menu. By default, most of the time you want to include your page in the menu, but sometimes you might want to have some hidden pages that aren't in the menu or you can't navigate to directly. So I'm going to go ahead and add page 1. And what's great about DotNetNuke is when I create a page, it also creates the menu item for me automatically. So I want this page to be in the top level, right next to Home. So what I need to do is I need to change where this page is and where in the menu. And how we do that is we can go to the administrative menu up here and go to the Pages page. What this will show me is a tree view of basically the sitemap of the website. And you'll notice that by default it added my page to the bottom here, which is not really what I wanted. But what I can do here is using these arrow keys, I can move that page where I want it to go. Now what I'll start by doing is moving it to the very top here. And notice when I did that, it moved it to the very first position in my menu. But I really wanted it to be right next to Home, so let me move this down one more. And it's where I want it now, Home and then page 1. Now to make submenu items of your pages, it's as easy as just using these arrows too to nest it within another menu. So let's say I wanted to make page 1 a submenu page of my Home. My Home has no children under it now, but what I can do is I can click on page 1 and move it to the right, which puts this little indentation here. So notice now I have Home and then I have page 1 underneath it, and in my menu it reflects it automatically. So Home and page 1. So now let's look at some of the settings on page 1. If I go click on page 1, I'm now on it, and I can click on my ribbon and click on the settings. Actually, I want to view the entire page settings by clicking the drop down here. Here is the entire page settings. What this allows me to do is allows me to define a page title, which is what the page will be named in the top of your browser. The page name is, of course, what it will be named in the menu. Here's where it's putting it in my menu. My parent page is Home, and I'm including it in the menu. Now the next major thing you need to understand is the permissions of a page. As you can see, since I moved it under my Home menu, it inherited the permissions of my Home menu, which means all users can see it, this green checkbox. What's cool about DotNetNuke is it allows you to dynamically set permissions and visibility really easily within your website. If I did not want all users to see it, I would simply uncheck this. Now the only people that can see it is the administrators. So this is very useful if for example, I'm on a production website and I just want to create a page and edit the page without anybody else seeing it. I would just initialize it as only the administrators can view it, and that way no one can see it until I'm done with the page. If I check here, I want registered users to see it, then by default, anyone who's not logged in cannot see this page, but as soon as you log in, you now can see this page. So that makes it real useful if your portal has information and content that only registered users can see. And it'll automatically add it to the menu once the user logs in. Authenticated users is only those users who are not logged in. And this isn't very common, but for example, if you were making something of a login page and only unauthenticated users could see it, but as soon as you are authenticated or registered, once you logged in, you don't want to see that login page. So that may be an example of why you want only unauthenticated users to see it. But most of the time, you probably want all users to see it because it's content that unauthenticated and authenticated or registered users can see. So the fourth topic I wanted to take you through, now that you know how to create a page, how do you put it in the menu, and how to set the visibility or permissions of it, is how to create a page that's only a forward to another page. And what I'll do is I'll create a new page in here by clicking Add, and I'll call this, I guess, Page 2. And I'll put it under the Home menu, and just like the other one. So we'll hit Add. Now we'll see we have a page called Page 2. And let me go to the settings of that page. Now what URL forwarding is, and the way it's useful and the way it's also very common, is I want to create another menu item, but I don't necessarily need to create it as a page. I just want it to be a menu item that forwards to another page. And this is very common. So what I do here is I go down to the advanced, I think it was advanced options, yeah, advanced settings, and I go down here to this other settings menu, and there's this setting called link URL. And by default it's none, which means I'm going to just link to I'm going to be developing this as a page, so it links to itself. But if I wanted it to forward, to redirect to another page on my site, I click Page. And let's say I want Page 2 to just forward me to Page 1. Then I select Page 1. And I say Permanently Redirect, and I click Update. So what happens now is I develop the content for Page 1 only, and I link to it from either of these pages. So notice I'm on Page 1 now, and if I click on Page 2, it just forwards me to Page 1's content. So now you know how to create a page, how to set the visibility of the page, how to edit some of the settings, and also where to put it in the menu. And now you also know a cool feature on how to create a menu item that's just a forward to either an external URL or a page inside your .NET Nuke website.